a huge win in the Fani Willis case in Georgia, and the DA is pissed. Now, of course, we're talking about Fani Willis, but what really kills me here, and I see this all the time. You got these constituents that are really not happy with Fani Willis, but yet they still vote her back into office. And a lot of people are like, well, why are they doing that? Why do people keep voting for people who don't treat them right? A lot of folks are complaining about how there's so many people who are still locked up in the prisons, and Fani Willis's office was supposed to be taking care of that situation. Then, of course, there was the whole situation with the secret relationship with Fani Willis and Nathan Wade that came out during Donald Trump's case regarding the Georgia election interference situation. Ashley Merchant, she was the lawyer representing what is his name? I forget the guy's name. Anyway, it was Ashley Merchant's breakthrough discovery that found out about this secret relationship. Meanwhile, Fani Willis is paying Nathan Wade almost $1 million to basically hardly do anything. And with minimal experience in RICO cases, it's like, what is really going on? And you got taxpayers steadily getting bent over the coals, paying into the system, and their money is being misused. And so it's like a lot of folks are pissed off, but yet the cycle keeps seemingly continuing. Well, the buck may stop very, very soon. Now, guys, there's even talks here that Fani Willis could be disbarred for her actions in court. So do any of you guys think that Fani Willis misusing taxpayer funds and paying her lover almost $1 million is enough of a reason to remove her from office? If you think so, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think a lot of people do feel that way, but the thing is we've got the Georgia Court of Appeals now having given Donald Trump a very much needed breather in this election interference case. Now, this comes as he was convicted in New York for a felony. Very unfair case. Funny thing is Democrats and Republicans have come to the point where they're like, yo, what are they doing to Donald Trump? This is not cool. And it's like, because here's the thing. There's a lot of Democrats out here who may not necessarily want to vote for Donald Trump, but they still look at him as a human being. And they're like, guys, this is just not right. And I think even CNN is coming to grips with this. Ellie Honig and there's a lot of different folks that are on CNN that are literally saying things and revealing things, not just the polls, but they're revealing things that CNN normally wouldn't do. And I find that rather odd. Like, this is crazy that even CNN, MSNBC, not so much, but definitely CNN, it's like, wow, there's a lot of folks on the other side that are saying, hey, this ain't right. We can't just let this keep happening. What do y'all think? By the way, if you haven't already, take a second, hit the like button for the video. Totally appreciate you guys. I also want to say I'm sorry to you guys for the live that I did earlier today. I ended up deleting the video altogether, so you're not even going to be able to see it. But we ended up getting shut down on that live. Some of you guys might have been on that live and you saw how it said that it was suspended. There was anyway. So that was completely out of my control. Once it was suspended, I really couldn't do anything. So ended up having to take the whole thing down. So I apologize for that. We'll try to do it again and maybe we can get through. And I'd love to know what you guys think I did wrong on that one. Some folks say, hey, you're spreading too much of the truth. Some people say I might have said the wrong thing. So I just want to say my bad, you guys. I tried. I really did. But get this, guys. So again, Donald Trump, he really needed a break. He really needed a breather from all of this drama going on in New York City. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this New York City felony from Judge Juan Merchan and DA Alvin Bragg. I mean, this caught a lot of people off guard. So a conviction, keep this in mind, guys, a conviction that further boosted the support for former President Donald Trump. So it really backfired on the Democrats, on, a lot of folks say it's Joe Biden. I can't prove that Joe Biden's doing this. Joe Biden denies that all of these lawsuits that are targeted toward Donald Trump are caused by him. He says it's not him. So what do y'all think? You think Joe Biden's behind this? You think that this is a coordinated effort, or is this just bad luck of the draw? Let me know, guys. But what we're seeing right now, though, we're even seeing haters of Donald Trump sitting here in disbelief. They're like, yo, what is going on here? Now, in fact, the Biden campaign, they're pretty much doing everything that they can to try and distract the people from this verdict. But the people, they're upset at the institution now. So it's not like, only fans of Donald Trump are having his back and they're arguing this. But there's a lot of folks that are just looking at this and they're just like, yo, the institution's jacked up and we can't let this happen. But the simple fact of the matter is that the Biden campaign, they're trying to do everything that they can to distract people from this Donald Trump verdict. But a recent announcement from the White House proved everything. It proved all of what we thought was, we had our thoughts, we had our conspiracy theories, so to speak, right? But this just kind of proved it when President Joe Biden suddenly said that he was now ready for executive action for our borders. Now, a lot of analysts at that point claim that Biden feels like he's now doing the right thing. How many of you guys are on board with Joe Biden right now? I don't know. And they're now saying that this was the plan all along. Quick shout out to all you guys in live today. Appreciate the support. Beautifully inappropriate. We got Bucko, Catalia. What's going on? KO. Let's see. Dave Romero, worstest guitar player in the world. All right. But Republicans are now pushing back. And they're actually saying that he's only trying to convince the American people to vote for him. This is what Republicans are saying about Joe Biden here, right? And by suddenly changing his mind, he's actually showing that he's hypocritical. I mean, we don't need that in a president, do we? And also that he's only doing this for purely political purposes. But here's the thing. Why else would Joe Biden put in a temporary executive order to cap the number of people who can come in illegally? You know what I'm saying? Why is it not permanent? Number one, unless you plan on getting past the 2024 elections and then turning it back off, which is why a lot of people are saying that he's hypocritical and that this may only be being done for political purposes. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear from Georgia and actually the Georgia Court of Appeals, and let's hear exactly what's going on right now. So take a listen here.
Not Hunter Biden, but let's talk about former President Donald Trump and the case that's being brought against him in Georgia, essentially, that is now on pause, essentially. We've just heard from the Georgia Court of Appeals. They have stayed the Trump case pending appeal. In other words, they have pressed pause on that case while Donald Trump essentially fights against Fani Willis, bringing that case against him. What happened? Why is it so significant here? I imagine it has to do with the timeline of whether or not this case would actually get to a jury prior to the election.
Yeah, you're looking right now at the entire order. I mean, that's the image. Yeah. It is a single page. It's not a long opinion where there's a bunch of case law cited. And the court is basically pausing the proceedings below during the appeal of the motion that was to disqualify Fani Willis. And you may recall that the trial court, the judge issued an order and an opinion saying, well, you have a choice. You can either disqualify the entire DA's office, or you can disqualify this one guy, and the one guy being the attorney on the team that was alleged to have had a romantic affair with Fani Willis. Now, the defense appealed that, and this pause will effectively ensure that this case will not go to trial before the election. And candidly, given the history of the speed at which cases move in this particular county, in this state court, it was already something of a long shot that it would make it to trial. But now this pretty much seals it. And just to
wow. So he says this pretty much seals it. That's a big deal, guys. This is a big deal. But this is the last thing that DA Fani Willis and her Fulton County office wanted to have happen, because it's really no secret that besides messing up Donald Trump's campaign schedule, the intent of all of these different charges they were out to get Donald Trump before the 2024 presidential elections. So this really screws up everything. And it's expected that a panel of 3 judges on the appeals court, they're going to hear these arguments about Fani Willis's disqualification by early October. Now, as expected, the DA's office, they couldn't comment about this matter. I wonder why, though, right? Now, this is a massive, huge win for Donald Trump, and it's an embarrassment for President Joe Biden. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think Fani Willis should be ultimately disbarred? Or, let me know what you guys think on that one. Now, President Joe Biden, who, by the way, is trying his ever-loving best to stay afloat within these polls. Get this, guys. A recent executive order from President Joe Biden is now supposedly limiting illegal immigrants coming into our country through the borders. Now, before we really get any deeper into this thing, you guys got to remember a very key detail here. He repeatedly said that he needed Congress to help him with the border. All the while, House and Senate Republicans, they pushed him to use executive action to do something about it. Now, with just months to go before the 2024 presidential election, Joe Biden suddenly remembers, oh yeah, guys, I got these powers I forgot about. I got these executive orders and executive actions I can execute, right? So does this prove that he just straight up outright lied to the American people? Now, a lot of critics are saying that he's 3 years too late with this decision. I read a lot of you guys' previous comments, a day late and a dollar short, too little, too late, all sorts of comments basically saying, hey, dude, we're not going for this crap. You waited too long. You're only doing this to get votes. It's a desperate Hail Mary, last ditch effort to try to, pull something together here. Alden Davis, thank you so much for the $5 super chat this evening. Totally appreciate you. Alden Davis says, I'm a fan. Hey, I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of our whole amazing, ever-growing community here on YouTube. You guys are phenomenal. I love you guys. Kevin 24/7 with a $5.01 super chat says, I am a bigger fan. Oh my God. Appreciate you, Kevin 24/7. Appreciate the love. But yeah, guys, this is wild here. This is wild. I've never seen people compete in the comments, in the super chats. Who's a bigger fan? I appreciate that. You guys are funny. But Donald Trump, he criticized Joe Biden for this. And the expectation is that he's going to reverse Biden's recent order at the border. Now, you guys, you might be thinking, well, why would he do that, right? Well, it's because Joe Biden's executive order doesn't close the border. It merely sets a cap. And this is what I warned you guys when this news first broke out. Biden, he wanted to use this as a marketing ploy to show that he's doing something for the borders without actually doing something for the borders. So with the numbers that he's provided, it is expected that almost 1 million illegal immigrants will be able to go through our borders with no problems within just a year. Now, I believe the daily numbers, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong on this one, I believe the daily numbers that are being allowed to go through right now, it's 2,500, maybe it's 1,500. I'm not really sure. But many critics like Representative Ralph Norman have said that this is not immigration reform. This is an open invitation. And Donald Trump, he's planning to put a major stop to this once he's voted into office. So he says that he's ready to kind of tariff the hell out of the countries that misbehave and are sending over illegal immigrants to our country. So, that's one of his plans. This includes the likes of China and countries within the Middle East. Trump says that we have tremendous economic power and he plans to use this against those nations. So do we continue to go down this path with Biden handling this immigration crisis, or do we go down a different path and see what Donald Trump will do with this illegal immigration crisis? You guys be the judge on that one. What do you think is the best path for the nation? But he also said that he would be terminating every single open border policy of the Biden administration. Some people agree with this, some people disagree with this. But besides the former president, you got Senator Marco Rubio. He's also spoken out about President Joe Biden's plan at the border. He's saying that it's a joke and there's pretty much no way that they're going to implement this thing fully. So Rubio is calling them out right out the gate. He also called out the fact that the Biden administration has already let in more than 10 million illegal immigrants into the country within the last 3 years alone. So what's kind of funny, though, is that it's not just Republicans that are blasting the president. The real interest, like I don't think I've ever seen this amount of cohesion between the Democrats and Republicans, but even Democrats are pissed. Look at Representative Nanette Barragan of California. She says that she's disappointed in the direction that the president wants to go with illegal immigration. Representative Pramila Jayapal, she likened him to Donald Trump and said that Biden should not be using the same tools that the former president used during his term. So, I mean, these are some pretty prominent Democrat congressmen and women who are literally like, Joe, stop this mess, stop this nonsense, right? So it's really interesting to see this play out. Usually, I would expect this to happen behind closed doors, but they're openly saying like, this is not cool. And it's nothing more than political pandering. So what do you guys think about this? You think Joe Biden is serious about fixing the borders now? Or is it literally just to get a few more votes? Kind of like, handing out some student loan forgiveness, trying to get more votes that way. I almost feel like this is just another attempt to garner some extra votes in the fourth quarter, if you know what I mean. Because it looks like the president is just doing his best to save face at the moment, which now brings me to this big one. So the White House was recently forced to admit that the transcript and the audio recordings of the president's interview with special counsel Robert Hur, well, they don't match. And this is a huge deal because we know that Attorney General Merrick Garland has pushed back on the efforts of House Republicans like Jim Jordan to obtain these audio recordings. So now you're probably wondering, well, what's the difference between the two, right? Well, the transcript, it actually makes it sound like President Biden did not have his usual stutter. And this is because they omitted filler words like and they deleted all those from the transcript. They also removed repeated words and listed them down only once in the transcript. Now, some critics are actually saying that they tried their best to pretty much just make the president sound as mentally sharp as they could. Now, the White House, they, of course, defended the president. And they said that the only reason why Republicans want this audio is so that they can kind of cut it up, chop it up, and use it against Biden in their marketing. I don't know if I agree with that. But what do you guys think? Do you think that the only reason why Republicans want this audio is to use it against Biden? Or do they want to just validate that, hey, everything is on the up and up? What they're claiming is actually true? Or, is it something else? What's going on, Keenan Ripon? Hello, brother. I see you down there. So the Department of Justice on its end ultimately raised the concern that AI would be used to deep fake information that the president said in the interview. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're probably thinking, oh my God, this is just so unbelievable. That's not what they were planning on doing. But I don't know. I've seen some pretty good deep fakes. And artificial intelligence can make people look like they said some things that they didn't. But here's the thing, guys. I feel like if they really wanted to do that, there's already so much that Joe Biden has already said that they could create a deep fake and make him say whatever they want anyway. So that's why I don't think that is a viable reason for Republicans to want to get that audio. I think it might actually be legit. Because again, if they're worried about a deep fake being created for Joe Biden, there's 3 years of him already talking. Typically, you only need like 60 seconds or less to get a good deep fake going and making it, basically to clone someone else's voice. So I don't buy that. Do you guys buy that? But right now, those tapes, they're still being asked for, although it's kind of unlikely at this point that the public world is ever going to be able to hear it. We may have to wait for Donald Trump to become president and for him to declassify those documents. But let me ask you, are any of you guys interested in hearing what President Biden sounds like behind closed doors? I mean, because here I am thinking like, you know, if he has this many gaffes and goof ups in public, I would love to hear. Don't give him any ideas, Ron. My bad, Carrie. I would love to hear what Biden sounds like behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Like when his guard is down, and I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Because you got to think what we see as Americans, as the general public. That's like the most polished version of Joe Biden that there is. So what does he look and sound like behind closed doors, no edits, when he's super comfortable and thinks, when he thinks that nobody's looking? And what does he say when no one's listening, right? Does he, like what's the real truth when he thinks no one's listening? I'd love to hear that. Anyway, I mean, especially, think about the fact that, he was deemed an elderly old man with memory issues. Now, I get that we're now all on the same boat regarding these issues. We have Democrats, we have Republicans to watch the show, and I totally get it. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you got to admit, they do try to polish things up for Biden, in my opinion. As they do, I'm sure, for any president. But Joe Biden, he's been, let's just say that there's tons of Democrats that are like, yo, I don't know if we can expect this guy to hold up another year, let alone another 4 years. But I don't know. I just want you guys to know that I do appreciate you guys' input in all these different videos that I release. But what do you guys think about this? By the way, if you haven't already, do hit the like button for the video, subscribe to the channel, and definitely share these videos. Kevin says I need some backup dancers. Like, can I get some backup dancers like behind me? Like, is that what you guys are into? I mean, we got the space here. Maybe I need to do an outdoor show. Oh man, you guys are wild in the comments. But Katalia's showing some love. Love you too, girly. But yeah, guys, this is where we're at. Ryan James says racist stuff, I'm sure. Yeah, so there's been a lot of talk about Joe Biden being a racist. Now, have you guys heard anything that Joe Biden has said that was racist? Now, I know, some of these clips that are floating around on TikTok and YouTube going viral. Got Joe Biden saying some either racist or some borderline racist stuff. I wasn't sure if it was a deep fake or not, but it looked like there were some of these older videos. But then again, there's some Trump videos that are surfacing around, older Trump videos that are questionable. So it's hard to tell what's a deep fake now versus what's really real, for real. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all be the deciders on that one. Drop your votes down below. Maybe I should get a poll going and see what you guys think. But anyway, if you haven't already, hit the like button. Totally appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.